5 6 4 5 6 0. Connected to node 5 6 4 5 6 2.
Where's our time? Yeah, it's getting pretty close.
Node 3 4 6 4 2 7 2. Connected to node 5 6 4 5 6 0.
Good evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airways with digital amateur television in the DVB-T format. We transmit on 70 centimeters to a crossband repeater on Cougar Mountain, and it spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. To find out more about our group, just please Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our homepage on the internet. There you'll see the exact frequencies we transmit and receive on. And also you'll find a link where we stream our nets held Wednesdays and Saturdays on YouTube. Also, we'd like to mention we simulcast our audio on WW7ATS 2-meter repeater with a tone of 103.5. The frequency for that is 147.08. Again, this is Dave, KD7ZYM. So I'll pause in case anybody has an emergency traffic or needs to make a contact before our net gets fully underway. And welcome back to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. So far checked in by video link is Ron, KD7QKU in Tacoma. Bob, K9PQ in Oak Harbor. Richard, K7ITX. Jim, N7QO in Covington. And James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue. And myself, Dave, KD7ZYM. Is anybody else wishing to check in? Well, hearing none, let's start off the net for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society with Ron, KD7QKU in Tacoma.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dave. This is KD7QKU in North Tacoma. Good evening to everybody. It looks like we have a small group tonight. Well, I don't have a lot to report. I guess I haven't been on the net for a while. I was sort of laid up, but I'm back now. Kind of weak, but other than that, I'm doing pretty good. I guess my big news was that we had a TV, a 50-inch TV set in the living room, and it worked good. We inherited it. So it was a free TV, and when we watched Hallmark movies, the voice and the lips were not in sync, and we couldn't seem to make them in sync, and so drove Joe crazy. So I asked our son Mike if he'd get another TV. So with that, back to that.
Thank you, Ron, for that. Seems to be some interruption on the 2-meter side of the transmissions that are coming through this evening. I don't know if the system needs to be at a restart or not, but Ron's had a lot of QRM static on his transmission, but it was okay on the digital side. So let's go to Bob, K9PQ in Oak Harbor.
70028 connected to node 5
Hey guys,
4,
I
5,
just
6,
turned on Echolink,
0.
just enough time to hear Dave say, "Let's go to Bob in Oak
Node
Harbor."
3,
I switched
8,
over to Echolink
0,
as I was
2,
not hearing
5,
anything
8,
on
0.
the
Connected
streaming
to
output.
node 5, 6,
And I didn't
4,
see any video on
5,
the streaming
6,
output either, but
0.
I'm not sure if Dave or Ron were sending video. So let's see. Well, a couple of big things. I finally, the whole dishwasher situation finally sort of resolved itself. It was resolved,
3,
I think, when
8,
we talked on Saturday,
0,
but I
2,
was just kind of
5,
slow
8,
actually
0.
making up my mind on
Disconnected.
what dishwasher to get and how much to spend. So that's going to arrive on Monday, and the guy who is going to install it will be here Tuesday. So I'm all ready to go on that. Very excited about that. And of course, excited about the upcoming Super Bowl. I'm looking forward to seeing that with some friends. And I also, speaking of appliances and spending money, I looked at over the oven, microwave ovens, microwave and oven hood combined for over the range, they call it.
Node 3, 8,
and
0,
they're kind of
2,
pricey, more than
5,
I expected.
8,
I mean, in the
0.
400
Connected
and
to
up
node
range, which is
5,
pretty much the same as
6,
the dishwasher.
4,
I don't know
5,
why I didn't
6,
expect
0.
that, but I didn't think it was quite so
Node
expensive the last
3, 8,
time. I see
0,
a couple of texts
2,
coming. I hope you're hearing me
5,
okay.
8,
I'm going to
0.
get back to send it back. This is
Disconnected.
K9PQ.
K9PQ, thanks for that. And audio is coming across both on Echolink and on digital television at this point, and I'm getting a return back from the repeater on video and been able to see Ron and myself so far this evening. So with that, let's move on down the list and pick up Richard, K7ITX.
Okay, yeah, this is Richard, K7ITX at the Northwest Kidney Center, Panther Lake, Kent, Washington. So, yeah, I heard, to start off with, I hear Dave just fine coming over Echolink on 2 meter. And then I heard Ron real good, but then, yeah, he got buried, wiped out at some QRM at the end of his transmission. So Ron, don't give up. Hopefully the QRM will be gone. It could even be bugging me at this point. And then Bob, you came through on Echolink with me like gangbusters. Little bit of QRM, something was some kind of motoring. I don't know what it was, but I heard you just fine. So anyway, beautiful day today. At least the afternoon was spectacular. Got a 1 mile walk under my belt. That was really fun. And then I took a rest in my cleaned out garage, with the new garage doors that I got last week. We had to, clear out the garage. And so it's pretty nice to be able to sit in there, and I get the sun blasting through. So I felt like I was even getting a little bit of a sunburn on my cheeks. So that was really fun. Let's see. Oh, well, and that brings to mind, what's his name? Palmer on the weatherman for Cairo television. It's pointed out that today the sun is higher in the horizon now, and it's not going to get any lower like it was in the wintertime. So, that's why I think I enjoyed the sun the way I did in the garage today, as I have my beautiful view of Mount Rainier at the same time. So hopefully we'll see more snow on the Mount Rainier coming up pretty soon. So with that, this is K7ITX, back to net control.
And again, good evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, let's go to Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Well, Ron, good to see you. Yeah, I understand you have not been feeling well. Glad you're feeling well enough at least to do the net. Hope you fully recover from whatever it was you went through. I never got the actual word. Yeah, there was some problem with your signal. For me, it was both on the analog and the digital, but just toward the end. You mentioned a 50-inch television that you got, and somehow the video was out of sync with the audio, and after that I couldn't make out a word you said. But otherwise, good to see you in there. Bob, dishwasher, glad that is going to be resolved. I hope the install goes smoothly. I hope it works well. One word of caution, because of something which happened to me. I had a new dishwasher installed a number of years ago, and they tested it out, and it seemed to be just fine. And guess what? After a few months, we discovered there was a leak. It was only leaking when the dishwasher was filling with water. It was a hose that went from the water valve on the dishwasher to the rest of the dishwasher, and that is something which could have easily been missed by someone, because it's not like it was leaking constantly. So take a look at it after the fellow leaves. You might need to call him back. The problem was actually a hose on the dishwasher itself. So it's sort of a sneaky problem. And let's see. Yeah, I don't know about microwaves nowadays. I've been pretty fortunate in that regard. Dick, good to hear from you by dialysis there. Yeah, it certainly was a nice day to clean out the garage. I did a bunch of work around the house here as well. And I heard you say you're hoping for more snow on Mount Rainier. Yeah, well, I don't mind the snow as long as I need binoculars to see it, or else a television to see it. Don't want it to be too close here. It was a really nice day here. I actually saw my thermometer show 60 degrees, and right now I'm showing 47. It is perfectly still out there. It is absolutely clear, not a wisp of a cloud in the sky, bright stars, and perfectly calm wind. It's absolutely beautiful out there right now. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
7QO, thanks with that. Let's see if we can pick up James, WU7N. What say you, James?
Thank you, Dave. I'll be on in just a minute. Give me just a second to...
Then, okay, we got a call sign up. That's progress. All right. Well, let's see. Well, Ron, glad to have you back. I was worried about you there, and I'm glad to hear that you are recovering. Hope you take care of yourself on all fronts. And yeah, there was some static crash, or maybe it was a digital signal or something on the top of your transmission at one point. But I heard at least the beginning part of what you said. You'll have to repeat next time around what you said about the TV set, because I think from that point on I did not hear you. Bob, you presented us with an audio puzzle, so now we have to solve it. I'm listening right now, and I can hear my own voice come through the streaming site that is the QSL.net. For anyone listening to us on the 08 machine right now, you can find that easily by just Googling Western Washington Amateur Television Society, and then that leads you to the QSL.net. Just click on streaming. I've found many times you have to toggle the speaker on and off to get the audio going. And of course, there's a little bit of a delay. But Bob, you said on the digital side there that you'd done that and it didn't work. So I'm confused now. My dishwasher, I have not used for years and years. I assume it's dysfunctional at this point, but I've never actually tried to run anything on it to see what would happen if I attempted to use it. It came with the place, so it's a spry 40 years old, I'm assuming. But at some point, I think if you don't use them, I think the seals tend to dry out, so I've read. So it would definitely be an adventure to turn it on and see if it would clean anything. When I very first moved in, I did use it. And I'm not even sure why, because I hardly need a dishwasher to do my dish and my mug. But I'm told you actually use less water using a dishwasher than if you try to do dishes manually, like I always do. I have a very large supply of dishwashing detergent. If I could somehow get it to you, Bob, but you're a little far away in Oak Harbor. I'd be happy to just give it to you. Maybe if you're down this way, don't forget about that, because I don't think it wears out. Let's see, what else is going on? Well, I just had a really good meeting with the King County ARES, and if anybody knows what happens with hijacked URLs, because the ARES of King County, I don't know if they didn't renew it or what happened there, but somehow somebody got control of the URL for aresofkingcounty.org, and I guess it was some sort of ransom thing or something. It's not clear to me, but the thing popped up, said this domain for sale, so they just renamed it Kingco of Kingco Ares or something like that, and moved everything on over. But then the person put the old stuff back up, like they relinquished the site or something. So, or maybe they just redirected it. I don't know. So anybody who knows anything about that, if you've got comments, let me know. It seems like there should be a way to say, hey, we've had that, we've always had that, and this guy just wants money and is trying to ransom us. I did look up the internet registration, and I think it's Iceland is the city name there. So maybe that's the problem. I don't know. So anyway, with that, I think I've said all I have to say for this round. So let me turn it back to Dave, our net control for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. And I'm pushing that.
WU7N, thanks for that. And this is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. Well, let's see. Looking over here, I got 48 degrees and it's clear out. The only thing I could add, I guess there's been a pretty major sunspot that blew out this week. And they're projecting that this evening in the northern part of the state, or even up to Seattle, we might be able to see some northern lights, so that'd be kind of interesting. And then also, it was kind of one of the funny things, checking my mail today, I ended up with somebody's W-2 form and with a Hispanic name, but I double-checked it out and it did not have my Social Security number on the documentation, so I don't know how that person got my address for his home base for income taxes. But the good news was it did not have my Social Security number. It had a different one on it, so that was good. And then I got off to Costco and got some goodies. Tried something new. They have a frozen, they call it jalapeno poppers, and it's a little jalapeno that's stuffed with cream cheese and a different type of cheese and some chopped up jalapenos inside, and it's deep fried, but just put it in a deep fryer, or in my case just an oven at 400 degrees for 10 minutes, and oh man, they were pretty good. Had several of those. So anyway, great item if you're looking for some snack for the upcoming Super Bowl. So anyway, that's what I've got to say with that. So with that, that's pretty much what's happening here in Lake City. So I'm going to send it back up to Ron, KD7QQ.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dave. Good evening again to the group. So I haven't seen anything on the TV tonight. I think we need Wade or Carlos here to kind of reset things and get them going, because the only thing I see is streaming, and I see Discord. But as far as it coming over the TV, nothing. So anyway, and I don't know if you're hearing me or not. I'm glad you got a dishwasher, Bob. I don't know if you mentioned what kind. If you did, I didn't remember. But when we moved into the house, 1970, I bought a KitchenAid. Didn't have a dishwasher in it. Had a hole for a dishwasher, but there was nothing there. I installed it. I guess I installed it. I don't know who else would have. And we must have used it for 40 years. Worked, flawlessly, clean, beautiful. It was very generic looking. Well, eventually it kind of gave up and quit, and so then we bought something else, which wasn't, probably paid twice as much or 3 times as much for it, and was not nearly as good as the KitchenAid. Why I didn't replace with another KitchenAid is, I don't know, but we didn't anyway, so that other one was junk compared to the first one we had. Yeah, Bob, and I'm glad you have somebody to install it. That's always kind of hard. Finding a good handyman is important. I have 42 degrees here, 42.6. I'm usually a little colder. That's in the backyard. So the front yard thermometer quit here while I was maybe in the hospital. I don't know. When I was home and looking, it wasn't working. The sending unit had been doing that off and on. I'd bring it in and rotate the batteries and take them out and put them back in, bang the thing around, and it would start working. Put it in the yard, so I just gave up, threw it in the garbage, and ordered a new one. So I have a new one, $16.95. Figured it wasn't worth the effort walking back and forth. So Jim, N7Q, if you can hear me, what I had was a UTI, urinary tract infection, and it turned sepsis. So you can't, sepsis is not contagious, and you can't get it from anybody or give it to anybody. It's your body. It has to do with, the infection in your body and your immune system, but it's kind of dangerous. Okay, that's it from Bellevue, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU, thanks with that. And Ron, your picture looked fine coming back off the repeater, the video repeater on digital amateur television. Also, your audio did not have any QRM on it this last transmission that you had on 2 meters, and everything was clean on audio on digital. So anyway, my picture has come up. I've been on monitoring that. It's looking okay. So that's the stats, what's coming off of the digital device at this point. So let's go to Bob, K9PQ in Oak Harbor.
Okay. Well, hello again to everybody. Ron, yeah, very happy that you're feeling better. Yeah, it's kind of a scary thing there. As far as KitchenAid dishwasher, we had one in our house from my earliest memories, which would have been early 60s. I don't know if it came with the house or not. I'm sure it was something my dad specified. He was very big on trying to buy something that's of quality and is going to last, and it did last, much like you. I'd say 40 years sounds about right for us too. They finally did replace it eventually, but man, that lasted a long time. Richard, nice to hear about the sun coming in your garage like that, and I didn't catch if you already got the new garage doors or you just got ready for it, but I'm looking forward to the sun, more and more sun around here, I'll tell you. Thank you, Jim, for the tip on dishwasher leak. I think I have got a good, I forget who was saying it, maybe it was Ron, about having a good handyman. I think I've got a good one. I didn't have any clue who to start with, but I had a nice little fortunate thing where the person that did the repairs that I called out from the inspection was this guy, this handyman. So, from what I saw of the things that he fixed, they all looked good, and so I'm going with him at least for now. And yeah, dishwasher, plumbing in general, it's the sort of thing where I sort of know what to do, but when you get into the details of it and all the things that can go wrong, I'd rather have somebody else do that. Let's see. Yeah, snow. I'm with you, Jim, on snow. My saying for snow is I love snow as long as it stays in the mountains where it belongs. That's my attitude on snow. And James, yeah, the dishwashing detergent. No, she left a bunch of stuff, a bunch of cleaning things behind, which I'm not happy about. I have my own. I'm not really interested in having all of her cleaning stuff left behind, including dishwashing detergent. So I am set up for a long time on that. But thanks for the thought. And I have no idea what to tell you on the King County Aries, other than in general, if you lose, if you let your URL expire, anyone can buy it, and there's not much recourse, so you really have to stay on top of it. But the thing that concerns me, it sounds like you said they, after Casey Aries decided they didn't want to pay off this person, they just went with a new one. You said it looked like they put the old Casey Aries website back up on the old URL, which, that's almost like a phishing thing. They might look for people to come there thinking it's King County Aries. So I would be even more concerned about that. My timeout alarm just went on. So I'll just say, my brand of dishwasher is SPT. It's apparently pretty common in rentals, and I believe it's made in Taiwan and has a pretty good reputation. I'll send it back. This is K9PQ. Back to net control.
K9PQ, thanks with that. I don't know, Bob, we're not didn't get any video on your last transmissions, but maybe you weren't transmitting video. So let's go to Richard, K7ITX.
All right. Yeah. Hi. Yeah. K7ITX in Kent, Washington. Speaking of appliances, we have real good success with LG. When I was in Phoenix, we had a dishwasher that needed needed attention, and so we got rid of it, and we got a LG, and same with the dryer. We got a LG. The wash machine is LG, and it's 8 years old, and so far so good. In fact, we're having trouble with the wash machine leaving a little bit of dirt behind after each load, and we contacted LG, and they gave us someone to contact here locally in the Seattle area, and he told us what to do. He in fact, I think I might have mentioned it to you guys, that he said run a cup of bleach many times. He was in. It was his text message was in broken English. You could tell he was probably Chinese, but he said cup of bleach many times, and so I'll be darned if that didn't solve the problem. So, and then so now we are big LG fans, to say the least. Microwave, washing machine, dishwasher, and dryer. So there you go. That's what I know about appliances. It's not very much. So with that, I'll send it back to Net Control. This is K7ITX.
K7ITX, thanks with that. Let's go on to Jim in Covington, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, Jim, good to see you. I don't know what to make of the URL there. I think, like everyone else was saying, if you expire, it could disappear. But I don't know. And then to go along with what Bob said, I'd be concerned about someone maybe doing some phishing on the old URL. Ron, I am receiving video from the ATV repeater very well tonight. I don't always, but I'm receiving it very well tonight. And wow, you had a UTI which went septic. That is dangerous. That has the potential to be life-threatening. I'm glad they got on that. I'm glad that you are improving. Keep an eye on that. And if you start to go downhill again, say something very promptly to the doctors. Hang in there, guy. Bob, I have not heard of that brand of dishwasher, but it doesn't surprise me that there are some newer brands out there, or particularly for commercial use brands that we don't normally see. I'm surprised at the number of older brands out there, that brands of everything, that are just no longer available. I think of all of the different manufacturers of televisions in particular, which we just don't see anymore. And I don't know, it's a little, unnerving. It's not like they were necessarily bought out; they just stopped production. So, not sure what to make of that. Maybe they just could not compete with the Asian markets. Dick, LG products. Yeah, I've heard good things about LG products. When I bought the house here, it had GE, and they're all still still here. But my house is only 35 years old, so I think everything's going to wind up breaking at once. Kind of everything else is breaking at once around here. Things are getting to that age. Cup of bleach many times. That's interesting. Maybe he knows something that, like perhaps they use some sort of lubricant, and it just needs to be washed out of the device before it's going to work properly. Interesting. If I can, I'll try to file that away in my memory banks, and I might need to refer to it at some future date when I buy a new product. But having said that, my memory banks ain't what they used to be. Oh well. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
N7QO, thanks for that. Get a quick ID here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM.
Okay, Dave. This is WU7N in Northeast Bellevue. I kind of jumped the gun a little bit, so just the tail end of your transmission got a little bit of an echo on it, and that was probably feedback from my 2 meters into the microphone on the phone that I'm using. And Bob, I'm sure you haven't forgotten this, but if you've got a cell phone, you can always load the software on a cell phone. And let's see, you'd still have to have Echolink to hear it, to come in. Maybe that Echolink could be on your computer and you could run the OBS on your cell phone. I'll have to think about that a little bit. Well, let's see. I saw something today that I thought was kind of interesting. As you know, I'm kind of interested in language and linguistics. And I saw one thing about how do you reconstruct, for example, what did it really sound like when people in Rome were talking with each other, and watched a very interesting series on that, on how you reconstruct the sounds of a dead language, since we've only had audio recording for the last 150 years or so. Very interesting. So anyway, the other thing is how the language is always changing. Right now, younger people in particular don't say "you're welcome" anymore. They say "no problem." If you do something, you say "thank you," they say "no problem." But I saw 5 other things that are far more elegant and poetic to say if you don't want to say "you're welcome." One was "the pleasure is mine," and so that's the closest thing to "no problem." I guess it's more informal. But then, "it was no trouble at all." Actually responding to this person's thank you in a way to say that was no trouble at all. Or if a very British response is, "I remain at your service." So that's, kind of a very British way of saying it. But think nothing of it. Now that's very close to the "no problem." And then another way to say thank you or "you're welcome" is "ever at your disposal." Now, since we're always talking about kitchen appliances here, I'm not sure that might get lost in translation. Ever at your disposal. So anyway, that's the other thing that as original, factory original is my disposal. It works great, except it makes this very strange, when you turn it on, it runs, does everything it's supposed to do. It's a little bit on the noisy side, and you flip it off, and it makes this big, loud, screeching noise every time you turn it off. And at first I thought, wow, this isn't going to last very long. I'll have to replace this soon. And that was 3 decades ago, and it's still going. So anyway, that's the tidbits of linguistics and kitchen lore from me. This is James, WAU7N in Northeast Bellevue. And I'll go ahead and turn it back to Dave, our net control for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society.
WU7N, thanks with that. And I was talking with Ron earlier today about it, is getting his new TV. He's having some audio problems with the old one. The lip sync was off with the sound, but from my experience with commercial broadcasting, what happens is that TV stations generally have about 3 or 4 servers they use. One server comes in from what's coming off the network, then the other one is local commercials, and then local programming. And what happens is it gets mixed up every once in a while, and that causes a problem to get out of sync. And basically the cure for that is to move off the channel, the active channel you're watching, say if it's channel 4 or channel 5, and move on to a different channel and then come back to the channel, and then hopefully the audio will recover once it resyncs again when the signal comes through to your digital television. So anyway, that's just a clue if you have that problem with the audio coming out of sync with the program you're watching. So that's about it. This is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. And let's see, I'm going to move back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay, thank you, Dave. KD7QKU here again in North Tacoma. Well, let's see. So when I got sick and was in the hospital, I asked the doctor how I got it. He said it wasn't because I didn't wash my hands or anything. He said that old guys have a tendency when they pee not to empty their bladder. And it can just be the fact they're in a hurry and they just don't stand there long enough. Or maybe their prostate is a little swollen and the bladder just doesn't want to empty. And so he told me be sure that when you go to the bathroom, you don't hurry, that you make sure you drain your bladder. So anyway, that's how I got it, claimed. So anyway, what else is going on? Well, I want a new recliner for the living room, and the wife and I are kind of been going around and around over this for quite a while. We have a blue chair in the living room that my wife likes really well, but it's low back. It's a swivel rocker, and it's close to the floor, very uncomfortable to sit in, I think. And so I wanted to take it to Habitat for Humanity or someplace and get rid of it, but she won't have anything to do with it. So in our bedroom here, I had a thing called Lab Lounger. So basically, it's kind of like a lawn chair. You sit in it and do sit-ups. It strengthens your lower back and stuff. And it helped me out quite a few times. I've had it for a long time. So I decided to get rid of that and make a spot that blue chair could be moved into the bedroom here. And my wife seems to think that's okay. So today when my son was here, I wanted him to take it to Value Village, but he looked at it and said no, he thought he wanted to take it home and try it himself. So he's taken the Lab Lounger home, and he's going to try it himself. And we need to get to the store and get a new recliner order before she changes her mind and get them to deliver it. So I'm looking forward to that in the next day or so. So with that, I guess, are we running out of time? Probably. So anyway, back to net, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU, thanks for that. Get a quick ID here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. So let's go to Bob, K9PQ in Oak Harbor.
Okay, thank you, Dave. That was really interesting about the audio sync. I'm glad you mentioned something about that. It's funny, now that we've gone digital, I just always assume that the audio and video should always be synced. and yet I have seen it myself on some stations. I just saw it a couple of weeks ago. That was so far out of sync, it was unwatchable. And I don't think I tried changing from one station to another. It was streaming. I think it was YouTube TV, so they try to recreate the cable TV experience, but with streaming. I don't know if it would have helped any with streaming, changing from one channel to another, but that's really interesting about the local versus non-local streams that you have from an actual broadcasting station and how you can get them out of sync like that. I did talk with someone years ago about this, how he was in the business, he was in the sound business, and I think he had something to do with, syncing, or at least it came up. And he said, once that's been your job for a while, you notice it everywhere. And again, I don't know if with streaming, that's all I ever watch anymore is streaming. I don't know if it's not an issue with streaming so much, but he said you'd be amazed at how many are just a little bit out of sync. I mean, enough for that he notices it because he's kind of listening for it, but the average person wouldn't notice. Anyway, really interesting about that. SPT it's more of what GE maybe still is, or at least used to be. GE was one that a lot of people that had rental units, a lot of landlords would buy that because they were kind of basic, and less expensive, but they lasted a while. So I think that's what this SPT. They do mention that it's popular with rental units. You see it in a lot of rental units. So I'm kind of hoping that that's going to be something that just gets the job done and lasts for a while. It's interesting. As I looked into it, they were all. Every one of, because I have to have a smaller one. It's an 18-inch instead of the normal 24-inch. And for whatever reason, all of the 18-inch models don't drive very well, not compared to the 24-inch ones. They just don't seem to do the job driving very well. But, if I have to leave the door open a little bit, I will. And the one other thing, it's a big deal for me. It's not a big deal in general, but for me it is. I've been without my normal everyday glasses bifocals since early September when I left my house. Right at that time, my glasses, the connector to the ear broke. I couldn't wear them, and because I was moving around. Oh, there's that timeout again. I'm going to break. Okay, I think I reset the timeout. About that time. That broke, and then because I was moving around all the time, I didn't want to order new glasses because I just would have to find a way to get back there to get them a week or two later. So I finally did get around to it. Then Costco, surprisingly, optical messed up the order. I did not expect that from them, but they did. And so now was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday I finally went and got them, and so I'm very happy. I've got now my regular bifocals, my sunglasses bifocals, and the ones I'm using right now, which are my computer glasses. For the first time, I actually got prescription computer glasses rather than just going with the reading glasses I normally use, because the optometrist said that I have some astigmatism, and so I thought, well, I'd better do something to deal with that, and I think it is more clear. My eyes are still adjusting a little bit, but I'm happy, very happy with it. Okay, I'll send it back. K9PQ.
K9PQ, thanks with that. Let's pick up Richard, K7ITX.
Yeah, well, I notice our television is slightly out of sync, or maybe a lot. I don't know. It's a relative statement. But I don't really want to call to Debbie about it because it's a hand-me-down TV that we got from our daughter. And if Debbie doesn't notice it, well, then I don't notice it. I think that's, and then to make things really worse is the Super Bowl game coming up. I'm not going to care about the audio syncing up that much anyway, because I'll be listening to Steve Rabel on Sirius XM, the home broadcast, rather than the TV audio. And with that being said, and then plus, I expect to be dialed in with FaceTime with my brother, because we're not going to his house like we usually go, but it's mainly because Debbie wants to be comfortable at home. So, and I have to agree with that. And plus, if I'm going to be listening to Steve Rabel, trying to sync the TV up with him, which that's going to be a challenge. I had a discussion with my brother today about that. We decided that, well, probably the best thing we can do is just touch bases at halftime. So anyway, so hopefully we won't be getting a new television anytime soon. I'm kind of my pockets are getting shallow after buying all these new appliances. So with that, this is K7ITX. I'm going to say 73 because I don't think it's going to get back to me. K7ITX, back to net control.
K7ITX, let's go to Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Jim, it was no trouble at all. I remain at your service, think nothing of it. The pleasure is mine? That sounds dirty. You are welcome. Ron, old guys, problems completely draining their bladder. Thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, I kind of have that problem too. What I do is attempt to go to the restroom even though I feel I don't need to go to the restroom. I just go more often than I used to. And that seems to do the trick. At least I haven't caught a UTI yet. But thanks for mentioning that. New recliner. Don't forget, go online and see what Costco has to offer. They might have something deluxe for the same price as something average otherwise. It's worth looking at anyway. It doesn't cost you anything to do that. Bob, dishwasher. I have yet to see a dishwasher that does a really good job of drying. Having said that, since moving to Seattle, I've only been exposed to the dishwasher here at my house. But what we do is, on the rare occasions that we do the dishes, we will do them at night, like just after using everything, and then just before going to bed, we will do the dishes, and then as soon as the dishwasher is done, we will open the dishwasher door and just leave everything sit in the dishwasher overnight, And then when we wake up in the morning, abracadabra, the dishes are all dry. Anyway, that's what we do, and it seems to work for us. Glasses. Oh, yeah. Ever since I had to get these progressive lenses, I have had problems. I can pass the tests, but I need to be careful, need to move my head around both vertically and horizontally in order to focus on the characters whenever they give me an eye test. And I had to do that every 6 months for almost 30 years. So, yeah, you get to a point and bifocals just don't work anymore. So you've got a choice of either trifocals or progressives. And don't know what they did to your glasses, but glad you got that, and it sounds like it's being resolved anyway. Well, Dick, you commented about liking being comfortable at home. Yeah, my wife and I are increasingly growing more fond of that too. Go to the restroom whenever you want. Grab a snack whenever you want. If you want to take a break, hit pause and then resume after you maybe wake up from a 15-minute cat nap, or do something else for a few minutes and then get back to it. Anyway, yeah, we've kind of, I don't want to say outgrown going to a lot of places, but we certainly realize some advantages to being comfortable at home. So it's not all bad. Anyway, enjoy the Super Bowl. We sure will. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
N7QO, thanks for that. Let's go over to James, WU7N.
Just a second. WU7N. All right. Well, Jim, you left out ever at your disposal. So the 5 elegant ways to say you're welcome are: the pleasure is mine. It was no trouble at all. I remain at your service. Think nothing of it, and ever at your disposal. So anyway, well, I'm not sure we ever figured out the audio problem that Bob K9PQ presented with us tonight. So I guess for the next net we'll have to be on the edge of our seats. I am springing the big bucks. I think something like $70 for connectors and cables and such. And then I'm going to continue forward with a bunch of antenna and SWR experiments I have going here. It's one of those deals where I probably don't need all those connectors, but if I just bought the 5 that I needed, it would cost the same amount of money as buying the whole glob of them off I'm going to Amazon. If anybody has any cheaper places to buy connectors or herds of connectors, let me know, because those prices seem pretty reasonable with the cost of metal these days. So I see we're coming up to the top of the hour, so I'll turn it back to Dave, our net control for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, for the last word. Anyone out there lurking and listening, we're 8 p.m. Pacific Coast Time USA on Wednesday, and 8 p.m. Pacific Coast Time USA on Saturday night. Our audio stream comes out on this 08 repeater, and you can also see both the audio and the video if you use your favorite search engine to look up Western Washington Amateur Television Society. That'll take you to the QSL.net WW7ATS site, and then from there you can click on streaming and toggle the little speaker in the lower right on and off and get the audio going. So, and that is, of course, a little bit delayed. So with that, let me turn it back to Dave over in Seattle. He's our net control. Take it away, Dave.
WU7N, thanks with that. And as you said, it's time to terminate the net. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net, broadcasting in digital amateur television in the DVB-T format. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave, KD7ZYM, terminating the net at 9 o'clock. Good evening all.
Node 3464272 disconnected.